Hello and welcome back to the Night Feed. I'm your host, Charlotte, here to bring you some comfort, camaraderie, and conversation and keep you company during, let's face it, one of the toughest parts of being a new parent, the Night Feed. Tonight's unpaid sponsor is delivery drivers catching you out. So I answered the door the other day to a delivery driver and he kind of did like a second look at me and really stared at my face. And he was doing like a weird smile and I kind of didn't know how to take him on. I was a bit like, hi, okay. He's one of the regulars. So I just found it a bit weird how he was staring at me. And then after a few seconds of just staring back and forth, he went, "You're having fun, aren't you?" And I was like, oh God. Oh God. So I took the parcel, smiled, closed the door, went straight to the mirror. And there they were, 4 stickers. And I'm talking like quite big stickers from that morning when we were playing in the playroom. They were sticking stickers on my head from this little packet that's all like girl power empowering stickers. So the ones I had on my face were Go Girl, Stay Sassy, TGIF, and Girl Power. Literally, cheeks, forehead. Now, luckily, this delivery driver knows I have small children, but if he didn't, questions had been raised, hadn't they? We have had a birthday week in the house this last week. It's mine on the 1st of November and Jason's on the 4th. So the girls have eaten their weight in caterpillar cake, sang happy birthday so many times, and just revelled in these birthday celebrations, bless them. I actually think they're going to be on a bit of a come down next week. I think the idea of regular birthdays is something that they want to remain permanent, and I don't blame them. It's funny, isn't it, when you have a birthday as a parent, it's still fun and it's still great, but I don't know, I'm always thinking about their birthdays and their Christmas, and you kind of have this selflessness, don't you, as a parent? I think the thing I love most about them is seeing them sing happy birthday and like make a fuss, even though they're so little. They get it and they understand it, and they know that Colin the caterpillar cake is at some point in the day coming out, which reminds me, it is the 4th of November when I'm recording this today, and we need to do that caterpillar cake before they go to bed. They will hold me accountable. Now, I did want to share something with you all tonight, and I think I've mentioned it once or twice before on the podcast, but on Saturday, the 1st of December, I am taking part in a fundraising event for the amazing hospice where my mum works and where my granddad sadly passed away. I'm going to be dancing in a Strictly Come Dancing style competition, or for our American listeners, Dancing with the Stars. So I am going to be doing the American Smooth with a dance partner. He's a professional, and he's been choreographing this dance that I absolutely love. I've had 2 lessons so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's taking me away back to dancing, which I used to love when I was younger. And I'm going to be performing on the 1st of December in front of 400 people. So pray for me. And I'm in the process of raising £1,500, which all goes to this incredible cause, helping those with life-limiting illnesses and end-of-life care. So if you can spare something, anything helps. I'd be so grateful, no matter how small the amount. What I'll do is I'll put a link on the show notes, and you can click on it and see a picture of me with the glitter ball and read some more details on the event and the reason why I'm taking part. But yeah, I just thought I'd put it out there. No problem if not. I know times are hard for a lot of people, but if you can afford something, even no matter how small, like I said, I'd be hugely appreciative. So on to this week's emails. As always, keep them coming. I love hearing from you. I do try to read as many as I can, and I try to respond to everybody. So yeah, keep them coming in, and we'll kick off with this one. Hello, Charlotte. I've been loving listening to the podcast during the night. It's the perfect companion when I'm up 3 times or more feeding. Oh, that's so great to hear. I need to know if I am alone in this. I know the cliche that having a tidy house is difficult with kids, but my God, I feel like I am drowning. For context, I have a 5-week-old and an 18-month-old, so I am, as they say, in the thick of it. Pre-kids, I prided myself on my tidy house, but now I feel like it's impossible to keep remotely tidy. I do struggle with mess, and I'm struggling to shrug it off at this point. Do you have any advice? I was going to give you my advice, but then I found a post in a forum asking the very same thing. And I thought, you know what? Some of these answers might entertain / relieve you. So here we go. These are some of the answers. The question was very similar to yours about somebody struggling with a messy house. And these are the responses. So firstly, it's decent. I'm not ashamed if people show up and come in, but seriously, don't eat anything off my floors. Don't look too closely at anything. Also, don't look under my kitchen island. I have an ant colony that moved in recently due to my baby throwing food. Next is, I honestly spend a lot of my energy trying not to look at things too closely when I walk through my house. I'm pretty sure there's food on my blinds from when my toddler was in his peak throwing food stage. I'll wait till my second goes through that stage before I replace the blinds. My house is clean but messy. The toilets need to be scrubbed and the dishes need to be done again. But we aren't living in filth. That being said, there's shit everywhere. Toys on the floor, the floating island is covered in stuff. The laundry room isn't walkable. Only half of the dining room is usable. Dust everywhere, no counter space. I'm ready to burn everything and live in a sterile, empty box. Next one, we cannot keep up. It's insane. We only have one child. I haven't cleaned my shower since August. The entire house is an obstacle course of pillows and cardboard boxes my toddler made and doesn't want to put away. I am super unfazed by it, but watching the electrician hop around was awkward. Finally, if it makes you feel any better, my stepson regularly FaceTimes his mum and tells her how we keep our house so much messier than hers. Oh, that's a painful one. Oh my God. Now, I read some of these, and to be honest, it made me feel better because I'm like you. I don't like mess, but I have given in to the fact that it's just going to be a way of life for a few years. I did see this quote on social media, actually. It was really lovely. And it was along the lines of, it's not our turn to have the perfect relationship. It's not our turn to have a perfectly tidy, organised house. It's not our turn to go out on daily date nights. It's our time to raise our kids and be there for them. And I think that is part of the letting go of the perfectness of that tidiness pre-kids. The order that you used to have, the organisation. I think if your kids are truly playing and happy and eating and having fun, the house is going to be messy. I've talked about it before. When I try and tidy up, it's like having 2 little tornadoes behind me, even when they're trying to help. It's hard. And the more you stress and get frustrated over that, I think is time wasted. Because no matter what, your kids at that age, I mean, what did you say, 5 weeks and 18 months? I mean, that is teeny tiny. And they're not even at the age where you can say, come on, help me tidy away now, which mine are, and we're getting there, and they're understanding that when they've played with stuff, we have to put them away. And yours are, like you said, in the thick of it. You're in the thick of it. And if you beat yourself up every day when there's mess, you're just going to have a rubbish day. So I am saying to you, you are unfortunately going to have to start shrugging it off a little bit. An untidy, messy house is sometimes a happy one where the kids are playing, as long as it's not like a biohazard zone, of course. Don't be too hard on yourself. You sound like you like to clean. You sound like you like order, that you like a clean house. And I'm sure that it is not in a horrendous state. But don't feel bad for feeling like you're drowning. You're 5 weeks in with your second baby. that is so new. Your mood's going to be all over the place. I mean, looking after an 18-month-old and a 5-month-old is enough, let alone trying to do laundry, washing, cleaning, ironing. I mean, I don't iron anymore unless it's a dress that I need to wear out. I'm being fully honest there. We iron as we go. So, yeah, you need to be kinder to yourself. And it sounds to me like the house is sliding a little bit because you are being so good to the kids and you're looking after the kids and you're prioritizing them. And that is absolutely what matters right now. And you being stressed and anxious about the house will transfer to them and they'll feel that. So the best thing you can do is roll with it a bit and it will get easier. And as they grow, they will help tidy a bit more and you will restore a sense of order. But there are days when I come in the living room, I'm like, how did it get like this? How have two tiny people done this? And it's okay. If someone was to come round when my house is a bit messy, I'd be like, they know. I remember one day my mum come round and I said, oh, mum, the house, the kitchen is just a mess. And she said, love, I've been there. She said, I remember my mum and dad coming round when you were 5 or 6 weeks old and the house was upside down. And they just come in and they helped me and they cleaned it up and they didn't say anything and they weren't judgmental whatsoever because they've been there too. And hearing that made me think, oh, yeah, do you know what? I'm just prioritizing my babies. So you're doing great. And we're all drowning in it. Just remember those comments I've just read out. Everybody, every mum, unless you've got 3 cleaners and a nanny, is struggling with keeping on top of things. So be kind to yourself. You're doing great. And keep focusing on them 2 babies because that's all that matters. Next email. Baby waking at 5 a.m. What do you do? Hi, Charlotte. My 9-month-old is currently waking every day at 5. Oh, no. He just is up and ready to play. I, on the other hand, am not. We tend to go downstairs, I grab a coffee, then I put TV on for a bit. Usually a show he will watch in and out. Then I get his toys out, but I'm running out of ideas. By 9 a.m, we've lived a whole day. Do you have any advice? Oh, I remember this phase. Luckily, it was a very fleeting phase towards the beginning of this year, I think. With my youngest and oldest, I think, would wake around 5. And I don't know actually if it coincided with the clocks changing. And I don't know when you wrote this in actually, but could it be potentially that? Maybe it's a real short phase. I don't know. Hopefully it is, but I completely get you on the feeling like you've had a whole day by 9. I remember thinking, wow, it's only 9. I feel like I need my lunch. I've been up since 5. It is hard, especially when they're 9 months, because they're not really at the age where you can put Bluey on and they'll properly watch it. They kind of need to be entertained, don't they, at that age? And it is tiring when you're up from 5. What I did was tried to stretch out that first hour as much as I could in bed with them. So I'd put them in bed with me, and I think I had a few toys to hand that I could just put in the bed and read a few books where I kind of drifted in and out. Obviously, I was watching them, but at least when you lay in bed, you're not physically up and watching telly and stimulated. You can kind of keep them a little bit calmer. I don't know whether it's worth trying that, getting some toys that he really likes in the bed so you can keep him as calm and as kind of still in nighttime mode as much as you can. Because I think if you go straight down at 5 a.m, you put the telly on, he's ready for the day and he's starting to get into that 5 a.m. routine. Whereas if you try and ease them back into bed with you and say, oh, it's still nighttime, let's cuddle for a bit longer. I know he's only 9 months, he's not necessarily going to be understanding that, but if you keep the calmness for the first hour till 6, I feel like going down at 6 o'clock is a bit more digestible than 5. I remember, I've been in your boat, 5 a.m. downstairs. It feels like everyone is still asleep. And it is tough. Also, follow Catherine Ryan. The comedian Catherine Ryan on Instagram. I don't know if they still do, but I know her youngest woke at 5, and I used to love it because I was up at the same time, and she'd always post stories of them just dancing in front of the TV to Coco Melon while she sipped her coffee, and she's quite sarcastic, isn't she? And I don't know, it just made you think oh, even celebrities have to go by 5 a.m. And it's like, yeah, this is real. We all go through it at some point. There's also an account called Stay at Home Activity Mum on Instagram, and she's got loads of activity ideas for babies and toddlers while mum has a morning coffee. So maybe worth having a look at that. Stay at Home Activity Mum. And mum is MOM, spelled the American way. You might just come across something that your 9-month-old would really enjoy, that you can passively watch while they play. You can have your morning coffee, you can kind of still stay subdued, and then you're not having to do too much at that time. And like I say, I hope it is just a stage, and it probably is. As they grow, they get more tired, they need longer, I think, in bed. And yeah, I hope this helps, and hopefully he'll be outgrowing this phase soon. Next email. Hi Charlotte, I'm a first-time mum currently on maternity leave. My little one is 9 months old and I'm planning to go back to work 2 days a week after my mat leave ends. My question is, what do you do during the days? I know you said you're at home with the girls and I wondered if you have any ideas. I find as much as I love being with him, the days can be slow. Any ideas would be hugely appreciated. Right, okay, so you have a 9-month-old. Mine are 2 and 3.5, so different ages. What did I do when they were 9? I did a lot when they were 9 months. When they were younger, we have a playroom, and I don't know if you have that facility to have a room, whether it's their bedroom or a playroom with their toys in. And I would go and sit in there of a morning to mix things up. So we were away from the television, get the books out, try and rotate toys as much as you can, so it's nice for you as well. If you're playing with the same old thing and reading the same old books, it gets a bit monotonous. So it's worth having a basket that you take toys out of and replace maybe weekly, so that everything feels a little bit more new to you as well and baby. I would definitely do that. And getting out to the park, I think that's really, really important. And I can be terrible for being a bit lazy with that one, especially with the two. I mean, suiting and booting them, especially in the winter. But once we're all out, it's great. We love it. They'll play in the mud. We've got those waterproof suits that they can just jump in puddles and roll on the grass and they get all muddy. I love that. And they're happy for a good hour or two in the park. And it's good for you to be outside. I think the days when I've stayed in non-stop for a few days on the row, I'm like climbing the walls by the weekend. Jason finishes work and he's like ready to have a little break of the weekend. And I'm like, what are we doing today? We need to go out to the beach. And he's like, whoa, I need a little minute. I've been working all week. And I'm like, I know, but I've been in all week. So for you and your partner's sake, I think it's important as mum, you do get out. If you have any friends in the area, go for coffee. Even if they haven't got a baby, go out for coffee. And then as they get older, what I've been doing is I found this little soft play area near me. Anyone that lives in the Manchester/Salford area, in the Lowry, so there's the Lowry outlet. Sorry if this isn't relevant to you, but there's an outlet in Salford called the Lowry, and there's not much in there really, but there's a little play area at the very back on the top floor, and it's £5 an hour. And it's ideal for under fives. It's only small and there's a little bit of soft play at the back. There's kinetic sand, there's magnets, there's like a role play area to be a doctor or a grocer. My girls love that. They call it the purple play area. And most days like, can we get the purple play area? And it's just great because they'll be entertaining there for an hour or two and they love it and it's safe. So you don't have to like watch their every move. And you can have a little bit of a minute while they play. Soft play, again, I don't do that often, but I know maybe when they get bigger, that's a good one. Oh, a great thing that you can do is the local library. That's another thing that my girls love to do. Even 9 months, getting them a little library card and just, it's like what I said about toy rotation, book rotation. Go and get some library books. Stay in the library for an hour or two. It's usually got toys in the little kids area. Some of them are great. And that will take up your day as well. That's another thing. Also, seeing other mums doing stuff with mum friends is great because you get to catch up, you get to parent together, even though looking after babies and catching up, it's like stilted conversations, isn't it? Where you run after one and she runs after one. But still, it's quite nice to have that person with you as you're parenting. So they're my top tips. They're the kind of things that I do in the day. I'm always looking for new classes. I go to 2 or 3 playgroups a week. They're only the ones I've spoke about on the podcast before in like church halls. It's great to chat to other mums there. They have toys for the kids. They usually get toast, tea, whatever. So yeah, just have a look round on, I would say, local Facebook groups would have them. I think would have like different groups and classes. And yeah, get chatting to local mums, and you'll find out about other things going on. But yeah, I think ultimately getting out and about is really helpful and really advisable. So I hope that helps. Next tonight is social media says. I came across a post earlier today, and it was a influencer who I follow called Nuki Mummy. I think she's great. She talks all about the benefits of being at home with a baby. She is a full-time mum and she just loves it. She really does, and her content's really positive and really uplifting. And she put a post up saying, "Is it okay just to want to be a mum?" And just obviously you're not just being a mum, but what she's saying is it okay to just want to be a stay-at-home mum now that she's had a baby and she's found this amazing purpose in life and she just loves being a mum so much? Is it okay to just be like, yeah, don't want the career anymore, don't want that anymore? And it got me thinking, is it a primal thing? Because I'm seeing more and more posts like this where women are having babies and going, I don't want to go back to work. I want to be with my baby. I want to stay here. I don't want to be out on that corporate job ladder. I want to be mum. Of course, there are lots of mums, and people will be listening to this saying, no, I can't wait to go back to my job. I love my job. It's my career that I've worked for, and that's absolutely fine. And then there'll other be people saying, I wish I could stay home, but it's not financially viable. But there'll also be people saying, actually, this is a position I am in where I could choose to be a stay-at-home mum, but I've not thought about that because I've been told my career is so important, and I've been led to believe that my career is key. And we're fed this narrative that we can have it all. And back in the days when we were cavemen, we were mothers and homemakers. That's what the females did. The men hunted, we were primary caregivers. And over the years, that has completely changed. And only recently, I would say like from the 80s onwards, women have been empowered. Go get the career. You can have it all. You can have a career. And then when you're ready, you can have a baby. And then you can juggle that life. And some women do it amazingly. And that's what they love. I've got friends who are amazing. They have great jobs and they juggle having the job and having the baby, and they seem to do it effortlessly. And every credit to them. Sometimes I think I don't know how they do it, because I personally think being a mum and having a full-time job is 2 full-time jobs. I don't think you ever switch off from being a mum. Even when you're in work, you're thinking about them. And then you're obviously having to balance your career. And I think it's slightly unjust that probably men have told us, oh, you can have it all, to the point where we have to have it all because most people need 2 incomes now. Most people have to have 2 incomes. So the baby has to go into daycare, which is extortionate. And that's another reason women are starting to question, is it worth me going back to work for a few £100 extra after I've paid the childcare fees? And it's put women in this awful predicament, particularly when they've fought for a career and they've worked so hard to get to a certain position, to have a baby, and then have to question going back to that because childcare is so extortionate. So it's a real predicament that so many people are facing, whether you want to be a full-time mum, whether you want to go back to a career, or whether you want to be a full-time mum but can't because of mortgages and payments and how expensive things are now. And I just think it's a really interesting conversation that we need to have, and we need to be a bit more open about that. It's okay to feel like, oh, do you know what? I just want to be at home with the kids. And if you can be, I don't think it's something you should be ashamed about. I think if you are in that position where you can do that, and maybe if it's a case of only bringing home an extra £100 after childcare, I don't think it's bad to start questioning whether you should work or not. I luckily am in a fortunate position where I am at home with the girls, and it's, to me, the biggest blessing that I could wish for. To other mums, it's not. I've had people say to me, "Oh God, no, I couldn't be at home all day with them. I have to go to work," and that's completely fine. That's everyone's entitled to their opinion and their feelings. Some people just wouldn't want to do that, but for me and this influencer, being a mum is, in my eyes now, the be all and end all. Like I just love it so much. I'm so grateful that I can be here. Obviously when they go to school, I'll start working. I do still work. I am still self-employed. I've scaled it right back at the moment. I love having that on the side, and that has helped put us in this position. But yeah, I feel like if I still had a full-time job and I was on maternity now, I would be, if I'm completely honest, question going back, and I would find it difficult. And it's okay to have that conversation. It's okay to be open about that. And I think a lot more women are having this realization after having a baby, like, oh my God, this is what I've been put on earth to do. Like, I love having my baby. I love being with the baby. And they're finding it increasingly difficult to switch off from that and go back to work. And I just think it's interesting how it'll play out, because maybe there'll be another shift like there was in the 80s. There was this big shift towards career-driven women and having a career. And I'm grateful for that in a way, because I am glad I went to uni. I'm glad I got a good degree. I am glad that we were told as women we can have a career and we can have it. It was very liberating. And I am a feminist, and I think it's great that the system, compared to how it was 100 years ago, women couldn't go to university here. And now we can, and we are empowered to have these amazing careers and climb as high as we want on the corporate ladder. But the flip side is, some of us want to be at home. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in being a full-time mum or a stay-at-home mum. It shouldn't be looked upon as, oh, well, are you giving up your job? Why are you giving up your job? It's like, well, this is my job now. This is what I love. So yeah, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about this whole kind of shift? Will there be a shift in a few years where more and more women are saying no to childcare fees and saying, do you know what, I'm going to be at home with them till they start school because it's financially viable and we can? Or, I'm just interested. What do you think? Let me know. The nightfeedpodcast@gmail.com. Next tonight is my self-care suggestion. And tonight it is to go out with your partner and have a date night. I don't mean just like I've said before, where you get takeaway. I mean, go and get dressed up. If you have someone that'll look after your baby or your babies for a few hours, doesn't have to be a night away, just a few hours where you can get dressed up, where you can feel like yourselves again, and you can go and sit at a table, be waited on, and chat. And that's exactly what Jason and I are doing tonight, because it's his birthday. We're going out to a restaurant. My mum's having the girls. She's here now, actually, with them. And yeah, I'm going to get a nice dress on, and I'm going to put makeup on. I might even put a bit of fake tan on and do my hair. And yeah, and I just think it's really important to have that time together where you can really, really chat, because if you're anything like us at the dinner table, we get a few words back and forth, but mainly it's the girls and us chat. We all chat as a family, and you find that you don't catch up much, especially when you're having trouble with them sleeping at night and you're not getting much time after you put them down, and you can feel like passing chips. I know we have. The last few weeks have been pretty full on, and it's hard to even go, oh, how's your day been? So that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. And I think if you have somebody who can take your baby for a few hours, go and have yourself a date night and just enjoy being in each other's company, just the two of you, and enjoy being cooked for. I'm really excited for that. Finally, to finish on a quote I wrote. You cried in the car today, Mama, as I screamed in the back. There was nothing you could do, no way to console me. You had to keep your eyes locked on the road. All you wanted to do was calm me down, but you had to keep driving. Your heart thudded as my cries got louder. You'd already had to psych yourself up today to get us out of the house, and now, here we are, both crying. Some days parenting is hard. It can seem like everything is against you, but know this, all mamas have bad days, and we get through them. The hard days make us stronger. Keep going, Mama. You've got this. Thanks for listening tonight, as always, and keep your emails coming in. The Nightview podcast at gmail.com. I love reading them. I do try and reply to everybody, and I do try and read out as many as I can. So keep them coming in. Also, if you did want to sponsor me, you can click the link in the show notes. I'd be hugely appreciative for anything. And yeah, I hope you all have a restful, relaxing, peaceful night ahead. Good night.